Soul. Read from Whispers of Eternity. And this is a demand for union with the Almighty. O Father, behold me through the pores of the sky. Smile at me through the twinkling stars. Strengthen me through the sun. Calm my feelings through the moon. Caress me through the breeze. Love me through my love. Throb in me through my heart. Breathe thine immortality through this mortal frame of mine. Speak through my voice. Help others through my hands. Use my mind to inspire them. Breathe through my breath. For within this fragile vial, thou alone canst sing thy complete eternal song. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hmm.
Where to begin? Where to begin? I was going to throw a challenge first up. No dad joke, just a challenge. I'll throw it over to the board of directors to send out the prize. There's a section of in Autobiography of a Yogi that talks about, I think it was when Guruji, his sister was unwell and he tried all the medicines and doctors and then he went to his guru and he said, "Oh, yes." And he went inside, hadn't seen Yogananda's sister. He said, "Oh, yeah, I can see that her stars or that the planets aren't right. There's an alignment out of place." And it's kind of interesting because he was talking about the internal alignment of stars within, or the alignment of planets within um, the his sister, and there was something out of place. And it's kind of an interesting subtlety that's in there because we all know that Sri Teshwar was amazing at reading the stars and the planets and aligning with everyone. Um, and Yogananda explained to Swami that this was kind of an interesting thing because as you go internal or you become free, you actually can see center everywhere, circumference nowhere, meaning that you can see and align all those stars within you. And we know in medicine now, and it's becoming more and more um, accepted that illnesses comes about from different energies or blockages of energy within our body, and it's kind of aligns with this truth that's in here, um, and that's spoken about from this internal um, uh, galaxy or universe within us that we go to. And if you think about self-realization, it's kind of one of the goals is to go so inward that we align and we go through all the chakras. We have to break down all the lifetimes of vrittis and clear those as we go along. And and it reminds me of a bit of a story. It's kind of interesting, but this story is about this person, well, it was a soul that had actually united with the infinite, but chose to come back to this planet. And he came back to save souls. It was a choice that was made. And so the minute this soul landed and entered this body, it was kind of an interesting thing because that body was still drawn into these earthly things, and it took some time for even the freedom to come about a second time. And the story goes that this young soul had a recognition of stillness. And for the first many years of his life, until he met a guru, always wanted to go to the Himalayas and meditate. And a lot of his story was about the ventures of trying to get back there. And he believed that that thing gave him freedom. It's an interesting allegory, isn't it? And nothing ever quite happened because the journey of that was always about going somewhere to receive freedom. And eventually he gets freedom after some time. He even had an opportunity with great saints to seek freedom or seek truth. And eventually that freedom came through his guru. And I'm going to read a story, and it comes from The Sleepless Saint, where this person, Yogananda, our dear Guruji, went off for a journey and he has an experience. Um, and uh, he talks with the sleepless saint about being free. He asks for freedom within or a touch of samadhi. And even at this point, the sleepless saint says to him, "You're not quite ready yet. It will come, but you're not ready." So it's kind of an interesting thing, isn't it? Where we've got this guru that's come back to save us all, but still has to relinquish these this draw from earthly things and attractions from past lives to get where we want to go. And because he says, uh, let me read this. He talks about this. He believes that this sleepless saint could, has meditated for a long time, like many, many, many hours. He talks about 40 years of meditation, and he says, in lifetimes of what we're doing, I'm still not free. He says that you have a guru that's going to be your guide, your grant this wish from eternity. And as we look through all the things that we do, it's kind of the same story, isn't it? Where we are still seeking outwardly these things. We're still seeking, particularly from the previous yuga that we've come from, this previous life where everything was bound. We have churches, we have walls, we have things that bind us together that give us a sense that that will give us freedom. Going into a church will give us freedom. We go into a religion and that will give us freedom. And there are all these outward things that go on. And the story from the big broad story of Yogananda was that he still had to let go of that attachment. That thing will give me freedom. And his journey with his guru was one of cleansing. It's one of the things that we have to do daily. We have to accept that every challenge is a chance to let go and be free. And why I like the truth, the words from today's affirmations of fearlessness, and that's the important thing. Like we have these feelings, and we have to face them fearlessly, good, bad, in between. Fun fact: nearly a week ago from today, we had
It was
we're
still
we're
in.
in an earthquake. We're at the epicenter of this earthquake, and to be honest, I've never felt anything like it. It was like Divine Mother, or just literally let go. And we were probably just about in the deadest part of our sleep. We'd probably all been asleep, and we literally got shaken out of bed with everything sort of coming down. And then obviously your awareness comes into this feeling, and then you're thinking, hold on, we've got, Gigi was with us, we had RT, you're then reacting to what's going on. And while this is going on, there's this deafening, rumbling sound that's going on. I mean, we're talking about the earth was moving and shunning so much. There were boulders, the next day, the size of cars that were rolling down hills and around us, and big earth cracks that had opened up. And it got me thinking, it's like, that was the minutest touch of divine energy. If that was a creator, and that's what's actually happening here on this island, it's the newest island out here, it's actually still being created. And we
Mhm.
just got a touch of that creation, that energy. And, you know, when you get woken up out of your sleep and, had to be dragged into your consciousness and dragged into this thought, all of a sudden you have these feelings. And these feelings come upon us, and we start going, wow, that was scared. And then for the next few days, it starts attaching. And just before this earthquake came, we had a group of school kids from the Living Wisdom School over in
Palo Alto,
Palo Alto that were here.
California.
And I did this little exercise with them because they were talking about freedom from attachment. And one of the exercises that we did was look at um, acknowledgement versus acceptance. So everybody here, I'm sure you could raise your hand, loves having their feelings acknowledged, correct? It's one of the things that we universally love. We love having our feelings acknowledged. And then I went through a process through my previous work as an intensive care paramedic that you could acknowledge a feeling, but then you had to go deeper. And there's this next part of it. It is, do I need to accept that feeling? Do I need to accept the fact that that emotion has come in? Because let's face it, that emotion comes from past lives, past experiences, past things as a child. What might affect one person might affect someone different. And ultimately, the experiences that we're experiencing are just memories. They just come and go. And then we create these feelings and protection from our heart that come into play. And I talked about some, stories of, some horrific things that I've seen and the feelings that you would have. Now, acknowledging them was one thing, but did I need to accept them? And what I mean by that is what part of that was going to be helpful? What part of that was going to have that ability to grow and move forward? Was fear one thing when you're hanging off the edge of a cliff trying to help a patient? Is that going to be helpful under that circumstance? Or do I need strength and calmness? So, of course, that feeling was there. I could acknowledge it, but did I have to accept it? And was it going to be helpful? And so, through life, we have all these things. If we sit at the root of what we do, everyone in this world kind of is born with that ability to sort of know right and wrong. We have these, all religions teach the same thing. And I can't imagine from day dot that there used to be a group that would all get together and then go, we're all going to teach the same thing this year. So this year we're going to get together and teach that, being helpful or being kind or not lying is going to, help you out here. And then we'll all agree to it. Next year we'll get together and sort of bring something else together. It doesn't, all these things are universal because there is an underlying truth behind them. And how we accept reality is exactly that thing. So during the earthquake, was accepting fear and that frightenedness and that energy behind what was there. Was it going to be helpful at the time? Or did it need to be there? And then you start thinking again, one step further. Well, if I experienced that and I could change it, what do I need to do with life to get through these things? How do I get through all circumstances in the same way? And the beauty of these readings and these teachings are we've been given the roadmap. We've been given, from a yogic perspective, we've been given the chakras. We know that each chakra carries these vrittis of lifetimes, and each one of them has that. We have that ability to either go down or up with them. We have that ability to read what comes in and uplift us. We all know that when we're feeling down, we're just in those words alone tell us that we're feeling down. It blocks energy. We know that by opening up our heart center and moving that energy upwards in an upward way is going to mix them. We know that just by acknowledge but not accepting feelings are going to allow the vortices to go through us. We've been given this amazing roadmap for freedom and energy. And a part of this lifetime and is about letting go of more and more boundaries. It's that, there's things like communities and that are all being sort of even broken down even more from the physical point of view. There's communities online, there's communities that engage with people, there's education in different ways. And each one of those is letting go of that boundary or the physical form that we're so attached to and uniting from that perspective. And I think it's just an amazing opportunity this week to sort of start recognizing that. You drive in the car and someone cuts you off. It's like, well, yeah, I acknowledge that that wasn't good. But what do I have to do with it? Where do I take that energy? Where do I move with that energy? The boss speaks to me in a way that's not helpful. And it's like, well, I can get this way about it, or a piece of machinery is not working or something's not working to our likings. What do we do to change that energy? Is allowing that affecting our internal side, which is that freedom of being able to move up and allow us the freedom to let go of all those vrittis, which is ultimately our goal here in life. I think it's just an amazing opportunity to start recognizing and just asking yourself, where can I internally change this? It's not physical, it's this energetic world that we're now moving and not getting attached to and letting go of past energies that bring up these feelings and then moving through those in a different way.
So, a quote that comes to mind, I hope you all love and remember this quote and bring it to mind when you want a little laugh. It's, your spirituality is tested in the cold light of day. And what does that mean to us? I think it's really important quote for this week because the truth is everything that we experience in our conscious experience is a test. And the purpose is to experience reconnecting with that inner kingdom, which is here, that seat of joy, of truth, of God's power, of unity and connection with all that is. And when we were experiencing that earthquake, it was like being tested in the cold or hot part of the night, in the middle of the night. And my mom and I were talking after this event, and we had settled down, and it was the next day, I think. And we thought, boy, I was so surprised at how calm and centered we all stayed. We didn't know what was going to happen next, as many of you are probably familiar. It's not just an earthquake that you have to worry about, it's the aftershocks. So you have to stay calm and very focused on your next steps as you proceed to get into a safe area, to make sure you have flashlights, water, food, because you just never know, especially in a rural area, if you'll be cut off from your day-to-day securities and needs, basic needs. So as we went about the evening, just, I thought it was remarkable at how calm and collected everyone was, even though all of us had woken in the middle of sleep. And I thought, again, with the next day, what did we all do? It reminded me so much of the fires that we always hear about, especially right now. There's a lot of stories about Swami Kriyananda as we get closer to the centennial event this year. Of course, as Sagar pointed out, it already happened because it was Swami's birthday not too long ago, to less than 2 weeks. And his story was simply, when you are being tested, are you in truth? Are you in the fact that we are here to learn and this is all a divine drama? How caught are you? And that's what Yogananda warned us all against. He said, do not do not get involved with this ocean of suffering. And one thing that Babaji reminds us, and this is why this reading is so important this week about Be Thou a Yogi, it's to stand unshaken amidst the crash of breaking worlds. Or in this case, we thought we were going to go in the ocean. You laugh, but it's true. And it felt like a fissure in the earth was opening and we were going to fall into it and then be done. And what a reminder of the fragility of this lifetime. But what is the truth is we are souls. We're not these physical bodies. And God is always trying to remind us, which is why they bring up Adam and Eve. It's the origin story where we got caught in delusion. We went down and out instead of in and up. And that's what started this whole mess. And now we're dealing with karmic lessons that we've been building lifetimes and lifetimes. Yogananda said it's like millions of lifetimes that we've lived. And only now we're realizing that this is just a dream, that we want to get out and we should probably do that and we should probably meditate and we should probably serve Guruji's work and be in tune. We should probably know better than to get upset in traffic or at a child or whatever it is. But we get caught. It's so hilarious how tr it's like entrapment. It's like, you know, we just get trapped in this mess. And one of the things that Swamiji had everyone do immediately after the fires was just clean it up. And then after that, after the mess was gone and they didn't have to keep reliving the trauma, he said, now let's talk solutions. Let's work together. Let's rebuild together as a community and then go from there. And we did the same. The kids left. We'd been doing bedding for probably a full day of just laundry. And then we had cleaned the whole property, the rooms, everything was clean. Literally the next day, everything was covered in glass, tile, things that had broken. And some areas were totally fine, which is a beautiful thing. But it was such a funny thing when you think about it. My mom was like, well, cleaning again. And I'm like, yep, I gotta do every bit of it all over again. Is all you can do is laugh. But when you get pushed to the brink, what can you do but laugh? Or in Swamiji's case, whistle, have a smile on his face because he said, why waste a moment getting caught in these downs? Why waste a moment? How easy it is to waste a fraction of that energy. One of the things that Babaji said is, or a devotee said of Babaji, is that he had come to a point in his incarnations where every single part of his being was uplifted in joy. Every thought, every feeling, every cell was joy. It vibrated pure joy. So every time that kundalini falls a little bit, so the joy starts to maybe go out, go into more like a attachment experience, or it goes down and out. That's letting a little bit of your bliss escape you. And so you have this opportunity now to be a yogi, to go and find that truth, to be united with the kingdom of God, and then to live it. Because what you'll find is that everywhere you go, people want to know, what are you doing? Because this world is messy right now. And it is so full of tragedy, so full of chaos. And when you can demonstrate that you are clinging to something real, people will be drawn to that truth. They'll be drawn to that magnet, which is your guru shining through you. And that's the goal. That's where our happiness lies. The nature of joy is to share itself. And that's where we all want to be. But we just have to allow these lessons to come and then to raise our energy to meet them so that we can be free in that kingdom of truth.
Can you finish with a quote from Arati's aerial coach from today?
You have to. I
What?
was going to finish with a
that-
song, but yeah.
yes, you can. But that was beautiful. That group of girls doing their aerials, and this coach looks over at one of them and says, "You know that exercise isn't meant to be easy."
Yeah. You're here to practice.
You're here to practice
Yeah.
and get better. And
Yeah.
that's the
It's
story
divine
of
love
life,
worship.
isn't it?
Yeah.
If it was all easy, we would just relax and
We
not
wouldn't
bother
go
to
anywhere.
return back.
We wouldn't be
There's
going
there's a
anywhere.
reason why things are hard
Yeah.
because it inspires growth.
And one of the things that we all noticed after that was how close we all felt to one another. And why? Because every time you go to your center, you feel more a part of all that is.
Hmm. So funny because just to touch on that part, Swami actually said when they were starting community, he said it was an interesting thing because when they first started, he said, we'll all get together and we'll all picnic and we'll all have dinner together and we'll do all these things. And after a while, they realized that nothing was really changing. And he said then they just spent 3 days in silence and all went inward and they grew so much closer together in that silence and being attuned with each other to the point, and Swami said this when with the times of quietness, he would actually be able to hear and almost predict each other's thoughts. Now that's closeness. And it's a lesson in life, isn't it? We don't have to be
Out.
outward. It's that inward stuff that brings us closer.
Mm. And now just to
Finish with a
wrap
song.
up. No, just one little fun story, and I know we're keeping you all a bit longer than usual, but I hope you'll enjoy this. When the owner of the like properties here at where we're having this, retreat with the kids and all of that, he went down to the temple where we have the pictures of the masters, and he looked at Yogananda's picture, which had fallen over. Of course, during the earthquake, all of them would have. But when he lifted it up, there was a petal right here on Yogananda's spiritual eye. And he felt like it was a little sign saying, I'm here. Don't don't fear.
Yeah.
So that's the promise that they've given all of us as souls, is that yes, it is hard and we have compassion for that, but we will not leave you. So that's the key, is to draw on that uh, presence during those challenges
Yeah.
and achieve that goal at the final exam, which is to attune to that as we free ourselves from this body each life. So I will